Scott, talk about the fourth place finish for the Pirates this past weekend at the NWC Fall Classic.
Sure. We're disappointed in our result. We have the roster where we feel like we should be challenging to win each and every event we play in. So a fourth place finish, especially in a conference event, and the anticipation of this conference event, and what it ultimately can mean, for our end of the year prospects. It was a disappointing finish, but I think the guys have the attitude more of, we're a touch disappointed, but more than anything, we're motivated, and it brought to light some things we need to work on in our own individual games and possibly some team preparation. We're excited to redeem ourselves this weekend at what would be the Spring Classic in Walla Walla, and ultimately we got beat up a little bit by the course conditions. Of course, that's the same for everybody, so it's not an excuse, but we just simply weren't very tough mentally on the second day when the weather was really poor, and we had a couple stretches each day, but specifically the second day where about an hour and a half worth of the round, which would, a couple holes mixed in there, we were just really poor, and then otherwise we were pretty decent, and, it just ended up in a result that we weren't anticipating, but, that's why they make you play the event. Who's the best on paper doesn't really matter.
Very short turnaround between the Fall Classic and the Spring Classic. Less than a week. Is that a good thing, or is that a challenging thing for you guys?
Right. For us, I think it's a good thing. I think we prepare each week, whether we have a tournament or not, like we're about to play in a tournament. The course is a completely different style of course. It's very firm and tight lies with undulated, firm, fast greens. So that's a bit of a challenge, but there's really no way to practice for that other than on that particular course in our region anyway. So for us, the guys are very motivated. We got back really late on Sunday night. We took yesterday officially off as a team. I have an inkling that most of the guys found a way to get some work in. I should say we took Monday off. Yesterday we had a really good practice again. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we leave again on Friday. Those 3 days are a little bit of qualifying mixed in with just what went right and what went wrong in the event, and try to tighten those things up for the next competition. So for us, I don't think it's a challenge one way or another. If anything, I think the guys are anxious to get back out and compete again and kind of right our wrongs, so to speak.
And this is a course that you guys have played at least once a year for the last few years. Does that help out too?
It does. We know this course very, very well. As always, some guys have played it more than others, but ultimately we know this course really well. It can be very penalizing in one sense and then be very rewarding in another. And the coaching staff, myself, and our assistant coach, Dylan Main, who at one point held the course record at Wine Valley from the tips, about 800 yards further back than we're playing it. He shot a 64 there once. In a tournament that Tiger Woods had won back when he was an amateur golfer. Dylan's a fantastic, golfer and a great coach, especially on course coaching. So between he and I, we've played or had teams in a tournament there, probably 30, 40 rounds. Plus these guys have played it a bunch. So we kind of feel almost like it's our home away from home as far as conference events and area courses go. So we feel like not necessarily an advantage over the other teams, because a lot of those teams have played it a lot as well, but for us personally, we feel like we know it really well, and we can really prepare our guys to score well on that particular course.